is all about boundary setting. What is boundary setting? Well, it is simply your family rules, the rules you want your children to follow at the family home. So now let's think about why is it so important we set up rules for our children at home, my dear Rainbow families? Well, firstly, when we are setting boundaries for them, we are actually teaching our children to be respectful of our parental authority. So then when they go to nursery, when they go to school, when they go to work, and when they enter the society, they will be able to respect the authority figure. They will be able to respect the boundaries that's been set for them in any environment. Secondly, when we set boundaries for our children, we are also teaching them to make better decisions for themselves, to teach them what is right and wrong. And I will tell you a little bit more about this, why and how we do this tomorrow. Thirdly, when we set boundaries at the family home, we are also teaching our children how to establish that internal boundaries for themselves. So when they grow up, when they, go to school and somebody push their boundaries, they will know, oh, no, this is not okay. And they will know how to respond because you have taught them how. Fourthly, and this is really important, the reason we have to set boundaries at the family home is because when we have the boundaries that we can follow, it reduces and it decreases the conflict at the family home, and it increases our positive relationship. How and why? Well, we all have the experience of when we come home after work one day, or we have in a better mood. And then, when you see the children have some wrongdoings, you'll be like, that's fine, But there'll be times we're really stressed. Any little thing will tip you over the edge. And you'll be probably like, no, you're not doing that. You're not doing this. This is wrong. That is wrong. So then, if you don't have a set of rules for your children to follow, and then we chop and change depending on our mood, this will create a lot of conflict and a lot of pressure for yourself and for your children as well. So that is why it's so important to set boundaries for your children in order to create a happier family atmosphere, because you have a set of rules to follow and nobody can argue about that. Right, we're going to think about how are we going to do this. Probably when I'm talking about the boundary setting, you probably have like 20 rules and 30 rules in your mind already that they have to follow. However, I would like to encourage you to think about this. How realistic that is for yourself as a parent to follow 20 rules. How realistic it is for your children to be able to follow 20, 30 rules. It is simply not manageable. So, as usual, we're going to start small, my dear Rainbow families. Now we want to think straight back to think about what are the most important things and rules for my family, for my children that they will need to learn. Well, albeit the curfew time, or family time, or you'll always be polite, saying please, thank you, you're welcome, all these things. So think about this with your partner and write down 3 or 4 of them. That is so important for your family, so important for your children. We want to start with this first, because if we can tackle this first, then the rest will come really, really easy. So today, that will also be your homework for today as well, my dear Rainbow families. Think about 3 to 4 rules that you want your children to learn and abide to. And then tomorrow we'll talk about how we follow up with this and how we teach them to be able to adhere to our rules in the family home. That is all for today, and thank you for your time, and you can do this. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. And today we're just going to focus on how to promote desirable behavior at home. How do we positively reinforce the behavior we want to see in our children at home through rewards and consequences? Well, you may remember we spoke about the importance of family rules and boundary settings. Well, today is just a follow-up of that material. But before we start, let's think about what positive parenting really is. A lot of researchers have done the research and found positive parenting really important when we come to parent our children. They have slightly different definition. However, in a nutshell, it is about parents who teach, educate, who discipline their children in the ways that is about promoting their self-confidence, self-esteem. It is about strengthening your relationship, that mutual respect without breaking their spirit. Well, based on my experience working with children and families, I would add that your positive attitude and mannerism and the ability to be able to see the strengths in yourself and in your children are very vital when you are adopting positive parenting strategies. Now let's look at why is it so important to have rewards and consequences in place in order to promote desirable behavior in our children at home. Well, we all know there are life consequences and rewards for all of us. If we go to work every day, if we work hard and smart, we might get a promotion, we will have financial gains. These are our rewards. And if we put our finger on a hot that is really hot, we're going to get burned. And if we drive really fast, we're going to get a speeding ticket. And these are our life consequences. Now we are using the same principle at home for our children to help them make better choices and better decisions when it comes to your family rules. We want them to follow them. So when it is through the rewards that we are insensitizing our children. When they follow your rules, we want to reward them for good behavior, for making the choice. We want to encourage them. We want to praise them for doing so. And it is through this repeated pattern we are promoting a desirable behavior, because we all want to be rewarded and we all want to be praised. And when your children get the praise and get the rewards, they are going to feel good about themselves. And in turn, you are helping them to build their self-esteem. You're helping them to build their self-confidence. When your children are happy, their behavior is more likely to be positive and desirable. On the other hand, we are using consequences to discourage the behavior we don't want to see, to discourage them making the choices not to follow your rules. And in turn, you are still promoting positive behavior. However, this is all about positive parenting. We still want to do it kindly and positively when we are implementing the consequences. And we'll talk about this at a later time. In addition to what I just said, when we have rewards and consequences in place, we are also helping our children to strengthen their consequential thinking, because they have to think which choice I make will lead to the better outcome for myself. And in turn, you're also developing their problem solving skills. And, ultimately, your children will be really happy when they are being rewarded and praised for good behavior. And this will create a happier family home environment for yourself, and you will strengthen your relationship with your children because they're feeling good about themselves. And it's about the way you do it. Next, let's think about how we can apply the family rules you came up with on day 5 and the rewards and consequences together in your family home setting. In order to make sure this is a more successful experience for your children and yourselves, I would like to share some tips with you in terms of how we do it and what are the things we need to think about when developing rewards and consequences. Well, the first tip is to make sure they are age appropriate. What I mean by age appropriate is if your child is 16 years old, you probably want to be thinking about grounding as part of the consequences instead of putting them on the naughty steps. You probably want to be thinking about increasing their pocket money as a reward instead of giving them chocolate treats like they're 5 years old. Our children grow constantly, so make sure you adapt and change your rewards and consequences accordingly to their age. And that is a very important tip to remember. Second, make sure they are immediate. We want our children to immediately experiencing success, earn privileges, and experience consequences as well. So in that, it's powerful. If the children need to take a month to earn the privileges, it already lost meaning. They won't be able to achieve it. It's not realistic for them. If it takes a whole week for you to implement the consequences, similarly, it's not powerful enough and it's not effective enough because they were already forgotten about this. So make sure your rewards and consequences are immediate, something they can experience straight away. The third tip is to make sure your rewards are something they absolutely love. So invite your children to write the treat menu, to write the privileges they want to earn in the next wee while, and you will see they will buy into this so much and want to earn these privileges. In terms of the consequences, make sure this is something they absolutely hate. If they love playing Xbox, then they will hate you to take their time away on Xbox. So you probably want to think about that as a consequences. So that is the third tip. Make sure that the rewards is something they absolutely love and the consequences is something they absolutely hate. Well, the fourth tip is to make sure rewards and consequences are balanced. What I mean by that is your family value, your family rules, the most high value of your family rules need to match up with the privileges and the consequences. For example, if one of your family rules is about tidying up, which is not that big a deal, it's tidying up. You don't want to be like, if you don't tidy up, you're grounded for 5 days. Well, that is not balanced. It is. You probably want to be thinking about if you don't tidy it up, then you will be losing 10 minutes of your Xbox time. But if you tidy it up, like I say, every day you'll be earning 20 minutes extra on your Xbox time. And that's what I meant by balanced. The value of privileges and the value of the consequence needs to fit into your family rules really well. The fifth tip is to make sure that it's consistency when you are applying your rules and consequences. That is how your children gonna learn. If you do it today but don't do it tomorrow, if you do it the next day but not doing the day after, they will never know. They will get confused. So make sure there is consistency when you are applying rules and consequences. Well, the sixth tip is to make sure that you are reviewing your rewards and consequences with your children every day. Set a time every day. Think about this with them. Praise them for the right choices they make. Encourage them to continue to do so. And if they break a rule, it is okay. We can encourage them too. We can say, you know what, today is a blip. Tomorrow you make better choices, and I believe you can do it. In that, we are still promoting positive behavior in a very positive way. So parents, these are the very important 6 tips for you to remember when you're thinking about applying rules and consequences in your family home. Finally, let's think about the homework for today. We already spoke about day 5, you will be establishing your family rules. So today I would like you to think about rewards and consequences to go against each family rule. And remember, you can invite your children to develop the treat menu, the rewards and privileges they want to earn in the next wee while. Once you have done that, finalize the rewards and consequences and share with your children and set a date to start applying them in your family home setting. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes adjustment, it takes changes sometimes. So make sure you keep doing that until you make it work for your family. And I believe you can do this.